You are obviously a serious refiner, but the magic weapons you refine are more and more indecent than the other. The soul-shooting spirit that should be moving people's hearts can control other people's spirit machines in you. And the Seven-Treasure service that collects people's weapons has become an 81 artifact in you. There are countless magic weapons like this, and any random pull can make people shoot to death on the spot. But you started refining just to pay off the gambling debt of your predecessor. 3 days ago, you crossed over to this deputy sect master, only to find that your predecessor not only had no cultivation talent, but also gambled on your fate. Being able to become a deputy sect master is entirely because there is a sect master brother. Taking advantage of the sect master's absence, the predecessor has lost all the valuable things in the Taoist temple. Now I can't even afford to eat, and a foreign debt of 800 taels of silver. There are less than 7 days left to pay the money back. If not, the debtor would come to his door and break one of his hands. A few days ago, the Taishan Holy Land held the Eastgate University. As long as you finish in the top 1,000, that's 120 billion in rewards. So the predecessor coaxed the second disciple Lu Dongyue to participate. But Lu Dongyue is not stupid. If he goes to participate in this cultivation, he may even lose his life. Why are you going to participate? In the end, the predecessor promised to make a collar treasure for Lu Dongyue. He reluctantly agreed. As a result, the predecessor accidentally died suddenly when making Lingbao, leaving only you with a fierce face after crossing and a treasure manufacturing guide. And at this moment there are only two paths in front of you. One is to wait for the creditor to come to the door and spend his own hands. The second is to let Lu Dongyue go to the main road of Taishan Resort, 112,000, and solve the debt crisis. All is a death. Give it a try. You studied for 2.5 days with your experience in repairing washing machine fans in your previous life. Now it's finally done. The Seven-Treasure Gourd in his hand began to vibrate. A pale green glow spread from the gourd. Just when you think about the different colors on this manual. Outside, Lu Dongyue's urging voice came again. Uncle Sure, aren't you okay yet? To urge, you push open the door and throw the Seven-Treasure Gourd to Lu Dongyue. Lu Dongyue's eyes lit up when she took it. It's really a Qibao gourd. Shi Ming and Yun Xianju also surrounded him in surprise. Second senior brother, give it a try. Shi Ming hurriedly said. What's the matter? Lu Dongyue shook her head. There is a limit to the number of times you can use Lingbao. Lingbao can only be used 9 times. How can it be wasted here? Mother, I want to see it too. Yun Xianju leaned up and looked at Lu Dongyue with big eyes. On weekdays, as long as you are spoiled, my brother will be soft-hearted. But today Lu Dongyue is very determined. This Lingbao is not easy to come by. You can't use it casually. Seeing Lu Dongyue, he was reluctant to lose. The two of them were also bored. Then he turned around and went to prepare dinner. Lu Dongyue also thanked you and left happily with the gourd. I looked at a few disciples wearing Dao robes full of patches. You also sigh lightly. Now the sect has no money to buy rice. You have to think about how not to starve to death. Why don't you set up a stall tomorrow to tell your fortune? The next day, you find a stick in the Immortal Pass. A rag is ready to go out and earn a living. Been here for a few days. The meals are all vegetable leaves. After a few more days, it is estimated that the face will be green. Teacher, where are you going? Shi Ming and Yun Xianju saw that you were about to go out and asked hurriedly. Look at the eyes of the two. You understand what they're thinking. I'll go out and earn some money to buy you meat to eat. You stay in the sect well. I'll be back in the evening. Make money to buy meat. The two little ones looked at each other. I'm afraid I'm going to go down the mountain again to gamble. An hour later, White Cloud City. This is the closest city to Chongqing Pass. On a lively street in Baiyun City, you found a chicken foot gala and set up a small stall. Then flipped the average to the side. I waited for an hour, but no guests came up. You are not in a hurry for such a situation. At such a time, you have to take the initiative to leave the country. The number of qi is in motion. There is a hint of greenness in your eyes. At this moment, in your eyes, these people are above the heads. All have some different color sense. Represents their fortune. You're ready to find an obvious goal to kick off your first stop. But I was busy all morning, and I only counted 2. One finished it, said thank you, and left. And the other great god only gave sure wenching. I also touched your hand for a long time. The saliva is dripping. Just when you're thinking about whether to close the stall or not. In the street, there is a splendid carriage that is coming when the emblem comes. However, you will be shocked by the dark clouds covering the roof of the carriage. There was blood in the dark clouds. The driver suddenly saw a person in front of him stop the car. So he quickly reined in the horse and scolded. You're looking for death. What's up? At this point, the face of the car rolls down. A young man's brain poked out of the car. This benefactor, you've had a bloody disaster lately. You walked up to the boy and said. However, the young man jumped off the carriage in front of him, grabbed your hand in surprise and said, you can tell. You are slightly stunned. How could this boy react so much? This senior is dissatisfied with you. I've been having a monster in my house lately. I didn't expect you to see it at a glance. Help me. The boy looked at you seriously. You're all a little dumbfounded. I haven't said that trick yet. The boy begged himself to save him. Isn't it a little too easy to trust people? But after thinking about it, I finally ran into something. I really can't say anything if I don't lie. Feel relieved. Channelson. You pick up the pin and dip it in cinnabar. Draw a sigil directly on the yellow paper. This is an exorcism talisman written in the tantra of this sect. You can stick to the head of your bed to keep you safe. You pass the talisman to the young man. That's great. The boy took the money as if he were a baby. How much? You wave your big hand and hold out 5 fingers. This young man looks like a rich man. It's not too much to carry him 5 taels of silver. It's only 500 taels. Oh gee, here you go. The boy directly took out 5 silver tickets and handed them to you. Daddy knew he would praise me. Just in your stunned kung fu. The boy had already gotten into the car and left. Look at the 500 taels of silver tickets. You swallow hard. And yet at this very moment, the little brother who was selling sweet potatoes at a stall next to him sneered. Dude, you're done. He is Yi Yun, the son of the lord of Bayun City. It's nothing for you to lie to him. But he has an older sister named Yi Ziying. He is a disciple of Shangxi Middle School. The temper is hot, jealous, and hateful. Let Yi Ziying know that you lied to his brother. He's afraid he's going to break at least 30 of your ribs. In an instant, you broke out in a cold sweat. Those who have debts here will break their hands. Now there is one more Yi Ziying, who will interrupt his 30 inside. The days are over. But look at the 500 taels of silver tickets. You've decided to take the plunge. It's a big deal that I won't be here tomorrow. Anyway, these 500 taels are enough for Chongqing Guanhua for a long time. So you quickly closed the stall and left as a superior. I bought a lot of meat and rice in Bayun City. In addition, before leaving the city, he also brought 2 sticks of sugar paste to Shiming and Yunshinju. Just when you slip away, Yi Yun also returned to the Sea Lord's mansion, excitedly trotted all the way to the main hall. Dad, good stuff I bought. Just ran into the main hall. Yi Yun saw his father Yi Qingbei talking to a young girl. How old is the person? And the wind is still in full swing. Yi Qingbei said reproachfully. Then he said, didn't you see your sister coming back? Why don't you hurry up and say hello? Sister. Yi Yun had no choice but to walk up. Cautiously screamed. Where did I go to play again? Yi Ziying didn't say. Such a big thing happened at home. You're still out running around. And I'm so old, I don't know how to share my father's worries. I didn't. Yi Yun felt very aggrieved. I just went out to find a way. Settle the affairs of the family and go. Dad said that I have been having nightmares and headaches every day recently. That's why I went out and figured it out. And I found a way. No need. Yi Qingbei said impatiently with white hands. What can you do? Your sister is a disciple of the Shangqing sect. A body of cultivation is strong. Even if there is a demon, your sister will solve it. I really found a way. Yi Yun stubbornly took out the exorcism charm you gave her from his arms. I met a senior who was a master. He said that he could destroy the Yukai with just this rune. Looked at the ordinary talisman finger in Yi Yun's hand. Yi Qingbei often sighed and shook his head helplessly. Talisman to the family. Yi Ziying stretched out his hand, and the talisman flew from Yi Yun's hand to his hand. Looking at the talisman in his hand, Yi Ziying sneered. Since 800 years ago, the Emperor of Heaven changed his territorial waters and blockaded them. The Emperor of Heaven was unable to arrive at the door after absorbing the aura, and he was already inexplicable. Their talisman is even more useless. When you get home, you don't even have a single disciple. You're being deceived again. It's how much money you buy this stuff. 500 taels. Yi Yun stumbled and said. A hint of coldness flashed in Yi Ziying's eyes. Yes, very good. When I solve this demon in the house, I will go to the liar to settle the score. Deceive people into deceiving our Bayun City Lord Mouse. See that I don't interrupt his 30 inside. At this moment, on the way back to Shanmin, you inexplicably feel a coldness. It always feels like someone is counting the mirror behind it. By the time you return to Chongqing Pass, it's already evening. I am back. Ming and Yun Qianju reluctantly came out of their houses when they heard your voice. Because every time you came back before, you would lose money in gambling and drink too much. Come back in a bad mood and sprinkle them up. Ming talked back once last time. I was slapped hard by you. So they'll hear you coming back. Hey Yuzi, come over here and give a hand. I saw the two of them hiding behind the stone pier and looking at themselves. You laughed. The two walked in kindly. Only to find out that you don't seem to be drinking. After seeing the meat and rice in your hands, I couldn't believe my eyes. For as long as they can remember, it's all you who take the brown door out to buy it. When did you take something back? Is this a bet one today? You and the meat take the kitchen to the kitchen. I'll show you my hand at night. At this time, you are in a good mood after slaughtering the fat sheep. Decided to cook it yourself. I'm really tired of eating vegetarian dishes these days. As he spoke, he bought the sugar gourd. It was handed to Ming and Yun Qianju. 1 string per person. Don't fight. Uncle Shi is afraid that he will not be able to occupy it outside. I'm going to sell my cute me. Yun Qianju's legs were trembling at the moment. Ming swallowed even harder. I bought food and came back to cook again. And the money to buy us sugar gourds. I'm afraid I'm going to sell it. It is estimated that the price has been negotiated. They paid the deposit. Sister, we cannot sit idly by. The brothers are not there. The two of us have to save ourselves. Ming said firmly to Yun Qianju. However, at this time, Yin Qianju is sweet. Try the sugar gourd with a happy face. Third senior brother. Sugar gourds are so sweet. At the same time, Lu Dongyue was following the mighty army of disciples up the mountain. His mood was very timid. On weekdays, I just practice with peace of mind in the Taoist temple. Rarely fights with people. Thinking of fighting with so many masters today, Lu Dongyue was very nervous. However, he touched the Seven-Treasure Gourd on his waist. Lu Dongyue's nervousness was much weaker. He has a spiritual treasure refined by his uncle. What are you afraid of? At this time, the high-ranking elders of the Muay Thai Holy Land came out and began to introduce the rules of the Big Pin. It's a race against your own strength. The first 1,000 people to reach the 100 caves will receive a reward. You can fight each other halfway, but killing is not allowed. And the first to reach the 100 caves mountain, you can go up the mountain to challenge the next 3 levels. Disciples of the 3 levels will suppress the cultivation to the same level as the challenger. If you can defeat those 3 disciples, you can get the magic weapon Borov on the top of the 100 caves. As soon as these words came out, the eyes of some of the elite disciples present lit up. They're gearing up. It's to take Borov back. Only Lu Dongyue didn't care. His goal is to be close to 1,000. The assessment is based on first 1,000 students. At that time, the assessment will be over. The elder of the Taekwon Holy Land swept the corpse and glanced at everyone. Then now the assessment begins. At the beginning of his life, a huge teleportation array appeared throughout the square. The teleportation array flashed with golden light. The disciples in the entire square disappeared. By the time they came to their senses, they had come to a valley. Look at the empty square. The upper echelons of the Taekwon Holy Land and the high-ranking people from other sects have all left. The elders of the Taekwon Holy Land took it casually. The entire square seemed to have fallen into the ground as if a drop of water had fallen. Immediately after that, an incomparably large mirror appeared. From that mirror, you can see the scene in the Sealed Valley at this moment. At this moment, the assessment has begun. Thousands of disciples were like a mighty army. I have already gone in the direction of Baihu Mountain. Each sect has also formed its own small alliance. It's not just about who is faster. It depends on who is strong. Otherwise, there is a good chance that someone will kill you halfway. I on that. How can I be so fast? The cultivation of wealth and martial arts is so good. This person is definitely going to occupy a place. Fade him out first. Lu Dongyue was shuttling through the crowd with her wonderful body skills. In terms of the ability to fight head-on, Lu Dongyue can't do it. But he has the ability to escape. Lu Dongyue spends most of her time practicing her light skills. His cultivation is not the highest, but the light work is definitely top-notch. The Immortal Pass and the Sunmai method can be described as one of the top light skills. It didn't take long for the start to rush to the front. The first 1,000 are expected. Lu Dongyue's eyes lit up. Where did the stinky Taoist come from? Go back. At this moment, a roar was accompanied by a sword slash. The speed of the knife light is fast. Lu Dongyue was taken aback, although he drew his sword and resisted. But the strong force made Lu Dongyue be shocked on the spot. Decepticon. Lu Dongyue was shocked. When he raised his head, he saw that all the disciples around him were already disciples of the Badeo sect. Abolish him first. The disciple of the Badeo sect who took the lead already had a beard at a young age. It is the chief of the Bottomen. The other disciples also looked at Lu Dongyue with a sneer. And when the crowd was about to come up and kill them, the Seven-Treasure Gourd on Lu Dongyue's waist appeared directly in his hand. Seven-Treasure Gourd. The disciple of the Badeo sect exclaimed in surprise and subconsciously paused. Even the chief disciple of the Badeo sect is the next one. They didn't expect that the down-and-out sword sect disciples would still have the 7 treasure blessings. Quickly retreat. Otherwise, don't blame me for sucking your weapons. If you have no weapons, I'm afraid it's not easy to get out of this mountain range. Lu Dongyue adheres to the principle of saving if you can. Try not to take the treasure, but choose to go out of the fire. I have to say that Ling Bao's deterrent effect is still very strong. A small sect like the Bottomen also can't afford to buy Ling Bao. If Lu Dongyue sucked their weapons away at this time, it's a bunch of stupid creatures with no brains. At this time, a soft voice came. Ooh. As soon as the Badeo sect disciple turned around, he found a young man in white walking up with a smile. A folding fan in his hand is like a scholar. He was followed by a few disciples. The chief of the Bottomen obviously knew the person who came. Zhao Xian, do you want to fight? Zhao Xian shook his head. I'm not interested in fighting you. I just can't stand your stupidity. Let's say it. Zhao Xian pointed at Lu Dongyue and said, look at him. The thief disciple was extremely depressed. Where does a poor ghost like him have the money to buy the 7 treasure gourd? Everyone was stunned. Yes, they can't afford to buy Ling Bao. And also, the 7 treasures gourd is filled with red light. Have you ever seen anyone's 7 treasure gourd steaming with chlorine? They can't be fake. Zhao Xian couldn't help but say, doesn't it look like everybody? The 7 treasure gourd is still bubbling with chlorine. Gave Lu Dongyue's face green. Damn it, almost fooled you around. Take the fake gourd slice and let's see that I don't need you a hand. The disciples of the Badeo sect leaned in again, and one by one, Lu Dongyue was really panicked this time, because after listening to Zhao Xian, Lu Dongyue said, I was a little suspicious that my Seven-Treasure Gourd was fake. The Seven-Treasure Gourd is indeed glowing red, yes. Your own green glow can't really be fake. Uncle Sure, I'm going to be killed by you. Whether it's true or false, one is deterioration. Lu Dongyue gritted her teeth fiercely. Remove the Seven-Treasures Gourd directly from your waist. True Qi was injected into it and roared. Harvest. As soon as the word fell, the Seven-Treasure Gourd suddenly turned green and shouted. The top of Lu Dongyue's head turned green. Just as everyone was stunned by the attack, an extremely strong whirlpool of air burst out from the Seven-Treasure Gourd, rushing towards everyone to absorb it. I rely on this spiritual treasure to be true. It's not good. Our weapons are going to be sucked away. The disciples of the Video sect and the disciples of the Zhao family were all panicked. They didn't expect that the down-and-out Daomen disciples really had such a treasure. The sword in his hand could no longer be held, and all of them flew towards the gourd. However, at this time, I heard the sound of eating. I saw that the clothes on one of the disciples of the Video sect were instantly idle. The next second, even the clothes flew out. Along with the underwear inside, it was directly torn, turned into rags, and was collected by the Seven-Treasure Gourd. The disciples stood naked and froze. Lu Dongyue was even more dumbfounded. Something happened. The Seven-Treasure Gourd is the treasure of a weapon. This is a well-known thing. But I haven't heard that the Seven-Treasure Gourd can still accept people's clothes. Before everyone could react, the clothes of everyone present went crazy. The next moment, they were all sucked into the Seven-Treasure Gourd. At this moment, the disciples of the Daomen and Zhao family, all of them stood naked in the valley of wind and sand. They looked at each other with fierce expressions. This man is not martial against the enemy. Not only did he take out the 7 treasures and take away the opponent's weapons, even the clothes were not left for the other party. The female disciple saw this scene. He hurriedly covered his eyes and shouted, perverted. This battlefield at this moment instantly became the focus of the eyes of all the trial disciples, and the enemies who were fogged by Lu Dongyue. They are all roaring incessantly. Sticky Taoist, I'll kill you. But everyone just roared. It is true that no one came up, because of all of them at this time. All squatted on the ground, one hand over his buttocks. The other hand was holding his crotch. It doesn't hurt at all. At this time, the mastermind Lu Dongyue was also extremely embarrassed. I don't know what's going on. Sorry guys. Get rid of him directly after saying that, rushing in the direction of Baiku Mountain. And this scene is all in the appearance of the battle. A number of sects are in the eye. Suddenly, there was a loud bang. Ha 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 ha. You disciples of the sword sect are quite white. The Zhao family's Zhao Xian's little ass is quite warped. The sound of eating and laughing around. Let the high-level leaders of the two families want to turn around and leave now. Even few elders of the Taishan Holy Emperor. It also feels a little sweet. Hurry up and put the lens of the mirror. Give it turns somewhere else. At this time, Lu Dongyue ran wildly all the way. With his profound light skills, he is among the best. This little Taoist priest is so fast. There is such a sharp part of the Daomen. It was at this time that Zhang Nanyan, who ranked third. When I saw Lu Dongyue, I was going to surpass myself. With a frown, he wanted to make a move. And yet at this very moment, Zhang Nanyan's ears suddenly heard a voice. Unstoppable. The voice was eager. Hearing this voice, Zhang Nanyan's expression was stunned. Then he watched Lu Dongyue surpass herself. Zhang Nanyan didn't understand. Why didn't Daddy let himself make a move on this little Taoist? It's just a tasteless realm. I can't beat him by myself. Seeing Zhang Nanyan made Lu Dongyue too long. Zhang Yan, who was in the Muay Thai Holy Land Square, breathed a sigh of relief. Fortunately, I didn't make a move. Otherwise, he wouldn't dare to think about how Zhang Nanyan would marry in the future. And the second one is a disciple of the sword sect. Was also stopped by the family elders when he was about to make a move on Lu Dongyue. This made Lu Dongyue feel very lucky. These two people are weird. Didn't even make a move on him. Otherwise, it will be wasted again to stab the 7-treasure gourd. Lu Dongyue pricked her mouth. Thinking of Zhang Nanyan just now, I inexplicably felt a little pity. I saw Lu Tianxing, who was the most powerful not far ahead. Lu Dongyue's eyes became hot. I now have the hope of competing for the first place. Naturally, I wanted to give it a try. What if it happens? The first place will definitely give more silver. Thinking of this, Lu Dongyue's heart was full of motivation. And soon the mental method was carried out more smoothly, turned into a meteor and chased after it. And Lu Tianxing, who was firmly in first place, suddenly felt a breath behind him catching up. This made Lu Tianxing a little surprised. I've been number 1 since the beginning. At this time, someone was able to catch up with him. Lu Tianxing subconsciously looked back to see which sects oversees Chinese master. However, when I found out that it was just a little Taoist priest with no quality, Lu Tianxing showed an incredulous expression. There is no product to catch up. What does everyone else eat? No one has done anything to this little Taoist. Be careful. At this time, Lu Tianxing's ears also heard the voice of Taishan Saint Emperor Changbao. The magic weapon on this person's waist is a little strange. Don't underestimate the enemy. Magic weapon. Lu Tianxing took a closer look and found that there was a gourd on Lu Dongyue's waist. What threat can a 5-rank martial artist use a Qibao fox deer? Lu Tianxing pursed his lips disdainfully. He was the best disciple of the Taishan Holy Emperor in 100 years. A 5-grade down-and-out trail is not even a horse prison in Lu Tianqing's eyes. At this moment, Lu Tianqing stood directly on a stone wall of the mountain cliff. A tomahawk on his back automatically broke free from the rope and flew out. The sound of the name fills the valley. A phantom loomed behind him. Huge as a giant, the power swept in all directions. The 4th heaviest panax. Many masters outside the arena were shocked when they saw this scene. At such an age, he cultivated the Taishan Holy Emperor's plate rot skill to the 4th level. It's no wonder that the Holy Lord of Taishan will bring Prajna blessing. A strong man suddenly realized at this time. It turned out that these disciples of their sect were just accompanying Chan. The Taishan Holy Emperor wanted to build momentum for their best disciple. For a while, everyone figured out what the Taishan Holy Emperor did. At this moment, everyone's eyes were focused on Lu Dongyue. They really hoped that Lu Dongyue would make a move to make the Taishan Saint Emperor lose face. Lu Dongyue, who was advancing, was also in her heart. If you don't die, you won't have half a life. Lu Dongyue subconsciously wanted to take the 7-Treasure Gourd on her waist. I'm not going to give you a chance. At this moment, Lu Tianqing stepped out. The subtle steps under his feet are brought into full play. The battle axe in his hand fell even more suddenly. This one is just too fast. It was almost so fast that Lu Dongyue didn't have time to use the 7-Treasure Gourd. Feeling the momentum of the edge can almost split itself. Lu Dongyue knew that she was finished. However, the Vajra suit in Lu Dongyue's body shook instantly. Immediately afterwards, a golden light directly shrouded Lu Dongyue. The golden light is like a ring of runes. Lu Tianqing's hair slashed hard at the golden light. The terrifying momentum shattered the ground under Lu Dongyue's feet. But it didn't hurt Lu Dongyue at all. But Lu Tianqing's face changed. I felt like I had been cleaved on a piece of steel. Daomen blessing turn. Several elders of the Taishan Holy Land all stood up suddenly. They recognized that it was the Daomen blessing turn on Lu Dongyue. But after the fall of the Daomen Fujuan is also a powerful sister. There has been no reality for many years. Vajra worked. Lu Dongyue also couldn't believe her eyes at this time. I thought this King Kong suit was a souvenir given to him by my uncle. Unexpectedly, he could block Lu Tianqing's blow. How could be? Just how did Uncle Shi's cultivation do it? Lu Dongyue couldn't figure it out. But now is not the time to think about it. Take advantage of the landing Tianqing stunt kung fu. Lu Dongyue also raised the 7-Treasure Gourd in his hand and shouted, "Harvest!" The wind is blowing. Lu Tianqing's body is bright and strong. The battle axe in his hand was sucked into the 7-Treasure Gourd without grasping it. Skywalker run. At this time, Lu Tianqing's ears heard the collective cry of the elders of the Taishan Holy Land. The voice seemed very anxious. Okay, Lu Tianqing snorted coldly. Even if my weapons are taken away, I will not be afraid of a single product. I, Lu Tianqing, are arrogant and quarrelsome. Only those who died in battle did not escape. Looked at Lu Tianqing's arrogant appearance. The elders of the Taishan Holy Land couldn't help but look at me at the moment. However, before Lu Tianqing could take 2 breaths, he heard a sound of eating. The pants are open. Hey, fuck, you're such a pervert. My panties, don't go if you're so capable. You give Lao Tzu the way back. The entire square of the Holy Land was silent. Many people want to laugh, but none of them dared. I can only endure it. The elders of the Taishan Holy Land were also all silent at the moment. Originally wanted to build momentum for Lu Tianqing. As a result, Lu Tianqing turned out to be effective. Was looked at by everyone, not the mission. The key is still so small. The great elder of the Taishan Holy Land looked at the back of Lu Dongyue in the water moon mirror flower. I hate the teeth and birds. Where did this ancestor come from? There is also this strange spiritual treasure in the Vajra suit. Check out for me. The great elder of the Taishan Holy Land shouted angrily. Find out where this person named Lu Dongyue came from. The 3 of you give me a good greeting for this Lu Dongyue. At this time, the great elder spoke again and transmitted the message to the 3 assessment disciples of the Taishan Holy Land. At the foot of the 100 Caves mountain, there is a disciple on the mountainside and on the top of the mountain. The 3 of them were meditating in a coil system. After hearing the great elder's voice, they all opened their eyes one after another. There was a puzzled look in his eyes. Who is Lu Dongyue? Isn't the person who came their junior brother Lu Tianqing? The 3 of them have already surpassed the 9 grades and reached the transcendent neck. It is also among the masters in the Taishan Holy Land. Originally, according to the script, Lu Tianqing came here. The 3 of them released water and let Lu Tianqing pass the assessment and come to the top of the mountain. Then give Bo Yao Mansion to Lu Tianqing in front of everyone. But I didn't expect it to be Lu Tianqing. At the same time, Lu Dongyue has also come to the foot of Batka Mountain. At this moment, Lu Dongyue's mood was particularly excited. He never thought that he was just here to participate in the assessment. I actually took the first place. And at this time, at the foot of the mountain, a disciple of the Taishan Holy Land was already waiting there. He leaned against the tree behind him and couldn't help but be happy when he saw Lu Dongyue walking towards him. You are number 1. Yes, this senior brother. I'm here to be tested. Lu Dongyue's mood has not calmed down at the moment. Said with a little excitement. The The disciple of the Taishan Holy Land sneered. Alright, then let's start the assessment. According to the rules, I suppress my cultivation to the same level as you. Then you strike first. I'll make a move after 3 moves. This senior brother. That's not going to stop it. Lu Dongyue clenched his fist half. It's not necessarily who can't stand whom. This junior brother and daughter did their best. The Taishan disciple smiled. Within it, Lu Dongyue naturally couldn't really go up and compete with the disciples of the Taishan Holy Land. That's definitely looking for death. Naturally, what he could rely on was the Seven-Treasure Gourd. The function of this Seven-Treasure Gourd is obscene though. It really worked. Suck people's clothes to the ground. No one is embarrassed to shake the sausage with a bare butt. Rushed up in front of so many people and continued to fight. Say, with a loud roar, the green light of Qibao Gourd was bigger. The Taishan disciple was stunned. Unexpectedly, Lu Dongyue used the leader to make a move. It's ridiculous. I didn't even bring a weapon. What can you do to me with the Seven-Treasure Gourd? But the Taishan disciple hasn't finished speaking. Immediately, he found that his clothes were torn on the spot. Then he was taken away along with his pants by the Seven-Treasure Gourd. Blink of an eye. The Taishan disciples were like eggs that had been skinned. Outrageous. How dare you dishonor me, you little thief. Go. You stop. But Lu Dongyue doesn't care so much. Even more so that Taishan disciple hid in the grass. Scolded himself in the back. Lu Dongyue couldn't hear it. Anyway, it's all the way today. I don't know how much scolding I've heard. Ears are going to hear Jane. A few more scolding words can't miss a piece of meat. The second Taishan disciple on the mountainside. I saw Lu Dongyue coming up. Apparently even more incredible. Just Wu Pin took the first step and said, you can also walk up from the bottom of the mountain. Senior brother Mahong is really a waste. I can't even deal with the martial art. Boy, you strike first. According to the rules, you will be given 3 moves. Haha, what can the Seven-Treasure Gourd do to me? I can easily play with my fists without weapons. But in an instant, there was another burst of invective. At this moment, everyone in the square of the Muay Thai Holy Emperor was dumbfounded. What kind of spiritual treasure is this? It's terrifying. They all want one. It's a humiliating artifact. It's just a little too immoral. The faces of the elders of the Muay Thai Saint Emperor were as black as the soles of their shoes at the moment. One way or another, he can't even pass this last level. The great elder's gaze flashed with a gloomy color. Gu Yanji, at this level, you must not lose the face of Taishan Holy Land. The great elder directly transmitted a message to Gu Yanji at the top of the mountain. At the moment on the top of that hill, a young man was lying there on the light stone, holding a wine glass in his hand and tasting wine. He heard the great elder's voice and smiled contemptuously. He shook his head slowly. Great elder, rest assured, I, Gu Yanji, will definitely not lose the face of the Taishan Holy Land. After that, Gu Yanji probed his palm. A boulder not far away shattered. In the midst of the boulder was a battle axe that shimmered with a silvery glow. Just flew into Gu Yanji's hands. The tomahawk buzzed. It seems to be sharp enough to split mountains and rivers. That's the Bora axe. The people outside were not moved by the axe. That's the god soldier on the god list. With such a magic weapon in hand, strength is not as simple as improving a little. Such a divine soldier is hard to come by. Only a big force like the Taishan Holy Land can have it. Okay, use the Bora axe against him. The great elder nodded with a hint of approval. He didn't know if Lu Dongyue still had the Vajra talisman on his body. But even if you have a Vajra talisman, you are not afraid. That Gu Yan is a master of transcending the mirror. Plus there is a wave soft charm in a hand. Any Vajra talisman can cleave it for you. Moreover, the rules do not say that Taishan disciples cannot use Bora talismans when they are assessed. At this moment, in the midst of all the attention, Lu Dongyue finally came to the top of the mountain. Gu Yanji smiled when he saw Lu Dongyue. No frets. Lu Dongyue nodded, and then hugged her fists. This senior brother. Are you the examiner of the last level? That's right. Gu Yanji said slowly. I will take you and senior brother Mahong on the top of the mountain. And Su Yun's junior brother's battles have been seen. I have to say that your Seven-Treasure Gourd is really interesting. Lu Dongyue frowned. This person saw that his Seven-Treasure Gourd was still so light and light. Looks like he's got it all right. It's tricky. This person must have a solution. It's come to the last level. Is it about to be defeated here? Lu Dongyue asked cautiously. Before, your rule was to let me make 3 moves first. Isn't this rule going to change temporarily? Naturally not. I spit on a nail in the Taishan Holy Land. How can it be the opposite? Gu Yanji raised his chin and said proudly. Alright. Lu Dongyue took a deep breath. Then picked up the gourd. And yet at this very moment, I saw a trace of arc flashing at the corner of Gu Yanji's mouth. I saw him take a step forward. In everyone's shocked and stunned gaze, plopped and knelt directly in front of Lu Dongyue, and lifted the Prashna blessing above his head. A throw and tell. The blessings are yours. See this scene. The great elder of the Taishan Holy Land spurted out a mouthful of old blood directly. This grandson directly conceded defeat. The others were dumbfounded. What is this operation? Even Lu Dongyue was forced on the spot. I haven't done it myself. This Gu Yanji admitted defeat. Lu Dongyue looked at Bo Yaofu in front of her fiercely. Then I picked it up. Getting warm in the hand actually gives people a warm feeling. And Gu Yinji also got up and laughed. Then he turned and walked away. He could see it clearly. Aham and Su Yun's clothes were stripped naked by Lu Dongyue. The two of them could only hide in the grass and show their butts and curse. Lu's the dead. Gu Yinji is a person who wants face. He didn't want to run naked. And the great elder also said it. You can't lose the face of Taishan Holy Emperor. Then he naturally gave Bo Rufu away. Otherwise, it will be stripped naked. Wouldn't it be a loss to the face of the Taishan Holy Emperor? And with Lu Dongyue getting Bo Rufu, the assessment has also officially ended. A moment later, everyone returned to the square of the Taishan Holy Emperor. And the eyes of all in this place are here. It's all focused on Lu Dongyue's body. Lu Dongyue felt it at this moment. Extremely intricate gaze. There is envy, jealousy, and hatred, and killing intent, dissatisfaction and fear. Gaze swept over. Discover those who have murderous intent and hatred for themselves. Almost all of them have just been stripped by themselves in the Valley of the Wind and Sand. Lu Dongyue didn't see it at that time, because he can't explain it. Uncle Shi, your leadership is really useful, but it really killed me. Lu Dongyue thought bitterly. I can only be cheeky and look away. And several elders of the Taishan Holy Land. Looking at Lu Dongyue's eyes, he was very dissatisfied. However, it is difficult to say anything in front of all the sects. Even if I break my teeth today, I have to swallow it. End of assessment. First of all, congratulations to the disciples who entered the top 1,000 this time. We'll start handing out rewards next. The great elder of the Taishan Holy Land stepped forward. The 101st to 1,000th place will be rewarded with 1,000 taels of silver. I hope you will continue to work hard. Thank you, great elder. Many disciples were extremely happy. 1,000 taels of silver was a lot of money for them. You can buy some cultivation pills. Disciples from the 11th to the 100th place can receive 5,000 taels of silver. In addition, you can get a giant bell pill. As soon as the news came out, everyone was happy again. There is also a giant bell pill for such a reward, enough to make them even more powerful. And Lu Dongyue's eyes are hot at this time. Wouldn't Qin Shimin's reward be better? 10,000 taels or 50,000 taels. The Grand Elder coughed twice. Then he said to the rest, Qian is a name that could become the inner disciple of our Taishan Holy Land, taught by the elders of the Taishan Holy Land themselves, and teach you the top martial arts of the Taishan Holy Land. Obtain the resources for the cultivation of inner disciples. When you want to leave in the future, you can still go back to the previous sect. As soon as this remark came out, everyone was taken aback. Only Lu Dongyue was directly dumbfounded at the moment. Don't you give money for this? That Lu Dongyue stepped forward awkwardly and said, Great Elder, wouldn't there be some other reward for me as the first place? You're insatiable. A disciple of the Taishan Holy Land angrily walked up and said, You have already obtained prime mention of my Taishan Holy Land. What else do you want? Lu Dongyue was about to cry. I thought the reward for first place would be better. Whoever knows, take back a broken axe. He didn't want it anymore. It's better to exchange it for money. How do you explain to Uncle Shi this time? Lu Dongyue shook her head helplessly. As for the disciple who became the Taishan Holy Land, he was uninterested. At the same time, the Changxingwen Library building. You've been in the library for a day and a night. Found a lot of interesting books. And there is one thing that interests you very much. That's ascension. According to the book, the vast universe is filled with infinite worlds. And when the cultivation reaches a certain point, to ascend to immortality is to leave this small world. You can travel to other worlds. Seeing this, you are instantly excited. If that's the case, wouldn't he be able to go back to Earth? It's noon. At the dinner table, Shi Ming and Yun Qianju were eating meat in large chunks. Yun Qianju's face was full of satisfaction. Stone Fade is worried. Looking at the meat in front of me, I always feel that I have eaten one last meal. After eating this meal estimated, someone will come to the door and pick them both up. Stone Destiny, you speak at this time. When Yin Shi is full of life, it was as if I saw a group of fierce and vicious people. Bound him up and take him away. You just called the boy's name. The boy of One Yin hurriedly did it. Just because the owner is not only gambling like life. Sell the assets of the sect cleanly, daily after alcoholism. He even has the habit of beating and scolding his disciples. But now you've crossed over. Not only did he take them to eat meat, I even buy them sugar gourds from time to time. This made both children think. You have the idea of selling them. Uncle Shi, you said. Listen, disciple, do you know how to ascend? When Yin Qianju couldn't help but say, Teacher, it's just a gambling debt. You don't need to ascend. Eat your meal and go. For Yun Qianju's thoughts. You're speechless. Teacher, don't think about it. The 7 absolute gradients were so wonderful and gorgeous. It is known as the first day of the Shintian realm. From cultivation to family ascension. It also took more than 400 years. Real life patiently explained. Wait a minute. The whole family soars. Your eyes widen at the real life. You're saying that ascension can also bring your family. Yes. Shi Ming nodded. Stone Destiny. Then one day you will not be born. Would you like to take Uncle Shi with you? At this moment, you seem to see hope. I can't do it in this life. But your own disciples can. I can hope that my son will become a dragon. Shi Ming couldn't help but be stunned when he heard this question. Then Moon nodded. As long as you don't sell him. You say yes to everything. Look at the stone life agreed to come down. You immediately decided to find a way to help your disciple improve his strength. It doesn't matter who they are when the time comes. If you don't give birth, you can leave here. Come back to Earth and enjoy your life. Stone Fate is so happy to see you suddenly. It's also a sigh of relief. But I also think you're a little whimsical. Just by virtue of their view of immortality. This third-rate small Taoist temple. How could there be a person who competed for the mandate of heaven, waiting for Uncle Sure to make more money? When the time comes, I will pay for you and buy weapons. I don't believe I can't make you a master. You swear. You and Shinju and the real life know each other. It's very helpless. Okay, I'm afraid this uncle is going to gamble again. Calculate the time. Your second senior brother is coming back soon. You look into the distance. The day is not far off when a gambling party will come to collect the debt. I don't know if Lu Dongyu silver has arrived. At night, the white clouds become the main house. Yi Ziying was cultivating in the room at the moment. And yet at this very moment, suddenly heard Yi Qingbei scream. Yi Ziying stepped out, ran to Yi Qingbei's room. I saw Yi Qingbei running out of it, holding his head in pain. The guards in the city lord's mansion also rushed in, but they see it, completely unaware of what's going on, all scattered. Yi Ziying's eyes flashed with purple lightning. Immediately, it was seen on Yi Qingbei's body. A dark shadow was gnawing at her soul. The dream demon frowned when he saw this thing. Yi Ziying. Steam runs in the body. Facing Yi Qingbei, he slapped it with one palm. There is a purple thunderbolt gathered on the palm of the hand. If it can drive away all blood fragments. After a muffled sound, the dream demon was shocked out by this palm. The black ethereal figure was shocked back more than a dozen steps. Then he looked up and sneered. Yu Zhaogong. However, the heat of cultivation is not enough. I thought there was a master of the Shangqing sect. I didn't expect it to be the same. Enough to clean you up. Yi Ziying looked at the dream demon coldly. I don't think you're going to be here for no reason. Who is behind it? You have too many questions. The dream demon cracked his mouth and laughed. I haven't tasted what a disciple of the Shangqing sect tastes like. Let me taste it. Let's say it. Just turn into a demon wind and fight with Yi Ziying. Yi Ziying also exerted her true chi to the extreme to fight against the dream demon. But Yi Ziying is just the realm of the 7th grade. And the cultivation of this dream demon has actually reached the 8th grade. With Yu Zhaogong, Yi Ziying can barely compete with the dream demon. But as time passed, Yi Ziying's physical strength couldn't keep up. Even the true chi is a little depleted. Gradually, Yi Ziying fell into the downwind. Daddy, go quickly. Yi Ziying knew that she was afraid that she would not be able to stop this dream demon. So he wanted Yi Qingbei to leave quickly. Yi Qingbei's face was extremely nervous at the moment. But let him leave his daughter behind. He simply couldn't do it. The dream demon burst out with a palm. At this moment, Yi Ziying was already unstoppable. He was forced back by this palm, and couldn't help but spit out a mouthful of blood. The disciples of the Shangqing sect are nothing more than that. The dream demon smiled, and then ran towards Yi Qingbei. Not much of my dad. It was at this moment that a dull sound came. It was Yi Yun standing behind the dream demon, holding a long stick in his hand. He slammed it on the top of the dream demon's head. It's just with Yi Yun's strength. That's not enough to tickle the dream demon. Boy, you're really brave. The dream demon looked back and grinned, then just lifted the withered palm. Sent Yi Yun into the house. Yi Yun vomited blood on the spot and fell into a daze. The dream demon looked back at Yi Qingbei and said, Originally, I was looking for something in the form of a dream, but now I'm too lazy to look for it myself. You tell me where the 9 emperor princes have gone. Hearing this, Yi Qingbei looked like a face. How could I possibly know the whereabouts of the 9 emperor princes? Is it? The dream demon nodded, then turned and walked inside. If you don't know, I'll kill your son and remind you. After speaking, the dream demon grabbed Yi Yun, who was struggling painfully on the ground. Stop it! Yi Qingbei roared angrily. She picked it up gently. I was also struggling with pain in my heart. I'll give you 3 breaths of time. The dream demon's palm slowly clenched at this moment. Yi Ziying looked at the ground being pinched by the dream demon in his hands, and there was nothing he could do. And yet at this very moment, the dream demon heard Yi Yun, who was blushing at the moment, as if he was saying something. What did you say? The dream demon leaned over curiously. I say, you die. Yi Yun desperately shouted these words. Then he raised his hand suddenly. I don't know when a talisman appeared in Yi Yun's hand. Take advantage of the fact that the dream demon is completely defenseless. The talisman in Yi Yun's hand was directly attached to the dream demon's forehead. When Yi Yun fell to the ground just now, the talisman was in her hand. Although she believed that what Yi Ziying said was probably a lie. But at this time, Yi Yun still preferred to gamble. In an instant, a dazzling light erupted from the talisman. Under this light, it was as if all demons and sins had been purified in half. The 8-ranked dream demon didn't even scream. It is directly purified by this exorcism talisman. It turned into ashes in the incredulous gaze of several people. Yi Yun fell to the ground and coughed violently. Then he looked at the flying ash on the ground in amazement. This exorcism charm is useful. Dad, sister, this exorcism charm is useful. That didn't lie to me. This character is true. He's really a peerless master. Yi Qingbei nodded. Yuner did a good job. Mingyue, you go and find that senior. Thank him so much for saving his life. Be sure to come to the Castle Lord's mansion as a guest. Leave it to me. The first time I was praised by my father. At this moment, Yi Yun was very happy. The next day is promoted. It stands to reason that Lu Dongyue should come back today. But until now, there is no figure of Lu Dongyue. This makes you not in the mood to read it today. There's another thing that makes you speechless. Originally, he still had the true chi of the 6th grade realm. As a result, it strengthens with its own aura. That aura actually swallowed up all of its true chi domineeringly. It is as if the true gas has been turned into oxygen. So at this moment, there is no trace of true chi on your body. It looks like Yagen is just an ordinary person. But what you didn't expect was this. Follow the explanation in the northern recipe that you cultivated. His current cultivation has reached the chi refining stage. It's not a system that is completely cultivated with others. It's a pity that the North Earth recipe is only an inner door method. It doesn't contain any spells. Uncle Sure, the second senior brother, is back. At this time, Yun Shinju trotted in from outside. I'm finally back. Your eyes light up. However, when you walk out of the courtyard gate, but I saw Lu Dongyue crying and mourning. He also carried a big silver headlight. What's wrong? You were slightly stunned. Didn't make it to the top 1,000? Yes, Lu Dongyue thought about it on the way back. It's not so much that you won first place. It's better to say that I didn't go in at all. It's a little bit better. Who would have thought that the first place would not be rewarded at all? With my 7-Treasure Gourd, I didn't even make it to the top 1,000. Your expression is lost. It seems that some can't accept that 1,000 taels of silver are gone. It's almost time to pay off the debt. There are masters in the gambling party in Baiyun City. The entire Chongqing Pass counts himself. The old, the weak, the sick, the disabled, and minors. I can't beat anyone. Where did that axe come from? You can't help but feel a little different when you look at that Prajafu. When did Lu Dongyue switch to using an axe as a weapon? Souvenirs for people. Lu Dongyue hurriedly said. You took the blessing of Prajna and turned it in your hand, and couldn't help but say a little speechlessly. Such a big place as the dignified Taishan Holy Land. The participation award will give a broken tiger head. That's it. Everything's faked. Please also ask Uncle Sure to punish him. Lu Dongyue said with her fist clenched. Never mind. No wonder you don't have the idea of punishing Lu Dongyue. After all, in your opinion, Lu Dongyue must have done her best. This immortal officer is poor and 200. Nutrition given to the disciples on weekdays is not enough. How could they be compared to those excellent disciples who usually wanted something? Lu Dongyue was also a little surprised. He came back mentally prepared. You split your head and cover your face and scold a pair. As a result, you didn't even curse. It's weird. That's right, Uncle. Is there something wrong with your Qibao gourd in the chain system? For this question, Lu Dongyue still couldn't help asking. Issue. Your heart is bulging. When the gourd glows green from the 7 treasures, then you realize that there may be something wrong with this gourd. Lu Dongyue hesitated. I'll tell you about this time. But he omitted the fact that he won the championship in the end. Absorbent close. You were also stunned after listening to it. The manual does not say that Qibao gourd has such a function. There's nothing wrong with coding your own code. How could such a thing happen? In this way, the Zhao family still has disciples of the Badoan. You've stripped them all naked. You don't have a certificate. Lu Dongyue said kindly. There is also Lu Tinqing and Taishan Holy Land and so on. Your face is full of black shoes at the moment. I didn't get the money back, not to mention, it offended so many people. What if someone comes to the door and asks for an explanation? Otherwise, everyone will break up. I'm back to my old man. Seeing your face become ugly, Lu Dongyue hurriedly said. But Uncle Sure, the talisman you drew is really powerful. Because at this time, he found that there was no trace of true chi on your body. It's like an ordinary person. What's going on? Although the previous cultivation was not high, but at least there are still 6 grades of cultivation. Why don't you even have a product now? You didn't pay attention to what Lu Dongyue said about the King Kong suit. In your opinion, it's just Lu Dongyue changing the topic. Can you not know what you have drawn? How could that thing be useful? It also blocks the attacks of 9 pins and 5 fingers. Just listen to it. It didn't take long for you to rummage out the door with your own bottle of gold. Now you can only go to Baiyun City one more time. Let's see if we can run into a few more wrong leaders. Make some money and pay off your gambling debts. You're fine at home. I went out to earn money. After dropping this sentence, you've left the Immortal Pass. Come to the familiar White Cloud City. You first took a casual look down the street. The matter of the City Lord's mansion. That day, I saw it. The top of Yi Yun's head was fierce. Guessed that the Yi family should die. But after inquiring, I found the City Lord's mansion. Nothing happened. Hold on to this suspicion. You've just wanted to weave the stall. I heard the sound of numerous footsteps appear behind you. Back, but I saw 20 or 30 people coming. The leader had a scar on his face. It looks very fierce. The others were watching with great eyesight. It can't help but make your heart chuckle. From memory, I know that these people are casinos. Scarface sneered. The Hanjo, I didn't expect to meet you here. How's the money going? There are 3 days left to pay the money back. If you don't give us back the money, don't wet your hand. Isn't there 3 days left? In 3 days' time, I will surely return to you the 800 taels of silver. 800 taels. The scar-faced man held out a finger and shook it. Then he said, 800 taels of knowledge principle. The interest hasn't been calculated yet. Including interest, the total is 4,200 taels. You were silent for a moment, but you didn't argue, because you know very well that the other lion has a big mouth. It's not useful to argue for yourself at all. It looks like he's really going to run away. 4,200 taels. Go grab it yourself. 800 taels of silver shall be calculated with interest, 4,200 taels. What a big breath. Who allowed you to count the money like that? It was at this time. A voice came from behind Scarred Man. Who is so bold? Dare to meddle with the affairs of our Bayun casino. The Scar Man shouted angrily, and looked back, but he saw a carriage behind him. A young man was looking at him with a sneer. Yiyun, Scarface hurriedly said politely. It turned out to be young Master Yiyun. How much does this senior owe you? I helped him pay it back. At this moment, the curtain of the carriage was rolled open. Yi Ziying's figure slowly walked out from inside. That powerful aura was instantly oppressive. Everyone in the casino was shocked. I didn't expect Yi Ziying to come in person. The Scar Man is also good at laughing. 800 taels. He owes us 800 taels of casino taels. Yi Ziying didn't talk nonsense. Directly took out a silver ticket and threw it in front of the Scar Man. Here are 1,000 taels. Pull on the silver tube. Don't affect the mood of the seniors. Yes. Let's go. The Scar Man picked up the silver ticket and quickly took the person away. And your heart is bleeding as you watch. He only owed 800 taels. Why didn't you look for the 200 taels? Yi Ziying, a disciple of Shengqing sect, visited his seniors. Yi Ziying came up to you at this moment and bowed respectfully. Yiyun has seen his predecessors. Yiyun also hurriedly came up to salute. This is a bit of a surprise to you. These two men are not here to trouble themselves. Help himself pay off his gambling debts. And then so polite. Because of something. Thank you seniors for giving me that evil suit. Looked like he pondered for a moment. These two goods will not find out that they have been deceived by me, then try to trick me into breaking 30 of my ribs. That's not right. I deceived them out of 500 taels. But just after paying off the gambling debt, he paid off his name by 1,000 taels. It's not a good deal either. Could it be that my evil charm really helped them solve their problems? Could it be that he is a master? I just don't know. Could it be that the talisman I drew was actually really powerful? In fact, he is a genius. Just as you ponder. Yi Ziying also looked at it. He found that you couldn't even detect the slightest trace of true qi on your body. This makes him even more sure that you are a peerless master. This is my father's piano post. Since the Yi City Lord has pleased, then I might as well be respectful. You take the invitation and say with a smile. Anyway, after all, people just help themselves pay off their gambling debts. It's not good to take people short. In addition, you also want to see what this city lord has to do with him. Maybe you might get some benefits. Please get on the bus. Yiyun and Yi Ziying invited you into the carriage. Then he went to the city lord's mansion. The carriage soon entered the city lord's mansion. Dad, the seniors are here. Yiyun hurriedly shouted. How old a person is. It's so miscellaneous that the seniors see the jokes. Yi Qingbei walked out and first blamed Yiyun for his move. Then he came to the carriage and bowed respectfully. Yi Qingbei met with his seniors. Lord Yi was polite. He walked out and lit up Yi Qingbei in front of you. From Yi Qingbei's body, he did not feel the breath of a strong man. But the divine soul swept the entire city lord's mansion, only to find that there were no masters in this city lord's mansion. That's a little weird. There is not a single master in the city lord's mansion. No wonder the bloody aura was so heavy before. Seniors, please enter. Someone served tea. Yi Qingbei greeted warmly. Thank you for your life-saving grace. Yesterday, if there was no priest from the seniors, I'm afraid that Yi Qingbei's life will have to be explained here. Yi Qingbei said with a smile. But, when you hear this, you just nod your head, but you don't think deeply. Because you know that what can make one party master in destiny must involve a very complex internal scene. You don't want to be involved in something like that. Just perfunctory agreed and then began to evaluate. Yi Qingbei asked seriously at this moment. I heard that Daomen rarely interfere in Jianghu City nowadays. Even some of the tasks released by Jianghu are rarely seen. It's true. You nodded. That's not very rare to meddle in Jianghu City. That's a disciple of the Daomen, and he doesn't have that word at all. Other sects can also receive some entrusted tasks to make money. The immortal officer is now even about to cut off the incense, who is willing to spend money to do things with their immortal officials. Senior Li's pure heart and few desires are also admired by the subordinates. Yi Qingbei clenched his fists and said, You laugh a little. Do you think Yi Qingbei must have something to find him? But it's hard to say it directly. So waste time here and on yourself. The tea was nice. You put your teacup down and say, I also want to thank City Lord Yi for helping me today. I don't think it's getting early. If there's nothing to do, I'll be here first. Seeing that you were leaving, Yi Qingbei was indeed a little anxious. Predecessor, seniors, please stay. Yi Qingbei hurriedly said. There's still something to do. You look at Yi Qingbei. Yi Qingbei waved his hand at the slaves and maids around him, motioned for them to go down. Sooner, you also go up first. Yi didn't expect that even he would have to go out. This made Yi Yun a little unconvinced. But seeing Yi Qingbei's stern eyes, I could only pout and leave. And Yi Ziying stayed. Predecessor, he has one thing he wants to ask his seniors to help. Yi Qingbei said with a solemn expression. You can talk about it. If you can help, there is no problem. But if it's dangerous, then forgive me. I know that my predecessors have achieved great skills. A body of cultivation is unfathomable. So I want to ask my seniors to help me send one person out of the city. Yi Qingbei said. Wanyan, you were directly sent. His own divine skills and cultivation are unfathomable. Where did you hear this gossip? It's only an hour from here to the city gates. Yi Changju still needs to be sneaky if he wants to send people out of the city. And I think your daughter's cultivation is very good. Isn't it okay to have him as an escort? Seniors, don't be joking. This little cultivation of the younger generation is nothing in front of the seniors. Yi Ziying responded with a wry smile. Yi Qingbei also said helplessly. Maybe the seniors will be curious. Why don't I even have a master by my side? In fact, there were a few 9-rank masters in my city before. There are even strong people who are beyond the mirror. But all of them died in World War I half a year ago. I thought that half a year would be fine. As a result, I didn't expect trouble to come again. Now I don't have anyone available in Bayun City. I can only ask my seniors to help. I, Bayun City, have long been targeted. I want to send people away without knowing it. Only a master like his predecessors can do it. After Yi Qingbei finished speaking, he stood up and bowed respectfully to you. City Lord Yi really thinks highly of me. I don't have the skills to do that. You quickly refuse. Joke. Your men are dead in battle. And now it's still being targeted. How dangerous are the people you're escorting? I'm here to escort you away. Isn't that looking for death? You said you couldn't send a little bit of that. Must refuse. If the seniors promise to help, I am willing to give 20,000 taels of silver as a reward. Yi Ziying stepped forward to hug his fists at this time. Before, you were forced into debt by the people in the casino, and the robes on your body are in tatters. Yi Ziying guessed that you should be short of money. However, such a strong man lacks money. It must be because it's too low-key and unwilling to do it. So the character can be completely trusted. It's just that Yi Ziying also understands. Hopefully, you're really willing to go for the money. Otherwise, they really wouldn't be able to give anything else in Bayun City. However, when you hear 20,000 taels, your heart is still a little shaken. I couldn't help but ask. Who exactly are you going to escort? It's a young man. Yi Qingbei hurriedly said. All that was needed was to send the young man to a pine forest 30 miles away. Wanyan, you pondered again. My suit really killed that monster completely. That's right. Yi Ziying didn't know why you asked, but still explained. The 8th-grade dream demon disappeared in front of the senior's suit. There is no resistance at all. Hearing this, you immediately stepped forward and shook Yi Qingbei's hand. Yi City Lord, believe me, this escort mission is none other than me. Thank you, seniors. So when are we going to do it? At this moment, Yi Qingbei was a little excited. There is no hurry. You reach out and pinch your fingers to figure things out. Although his own strength is not good, but you know that the Tao methods you learned in your previous life can be used now. Since visualization can't be used, then you're going to use some special methods to get people out of the city. But it takes some angels at the moment. So after you think about it for a moment, you say, 3 days later I sent him out of the city. 3 days. Yi Qingbei pondered for a moment and then nodded. Then there is Lao Li Sr. Yi Qingbei solemnly clenched his fists and said, these 2,000 taels of silver are considered a deposit for the seniors. Yi Qingbei took out 2 silver tickets of 1,000 taels and handed them to you. That's embarrassing. You say as you take the silver ticket. Then he put it in his sleeve robe. A warm smile spread across his face. This time Yi Qingbei couldn't get it. Yi Qingbei feels that you are really different from the masters you meet on weekdays. Very special. Eventually, you leave the city lord's mansion with the money. Promise to come in 3 days. At this time, you have money in your hand. You are in no hurry to go back to the Immortal Pavilion. Instead, I went to the Shinji Chamber of Commerce. When I saw Yi Ziying using a storage bag today, I was about to be cruel to you. Now you have to get one for everything. But you don't know until you get there. A 1-cubicle storage bag costs 50,000 taels of silver. Just when you are discouraged, you see storage bags selling semi-finished products. It only takes 500 taels and one. You didn't hesitate to buy it. I couldn't afford the finished product, so I went back and dreamed for myself. Immediately afterwards, he ordered a lot of daily necessities in the Shinji Chamber of Commerce. In the end, he returned to the Immortal Pass. I am back. When you returned to the Immortal Pass, you shouted. It's just that Sherming and Yun Qianzhu don't know where to run completely. Lu Dongyue is chopping wood. A firewood knife in his hand is about to curl the blade. Teacher. Lu Dongyue clapped her hands and quickly stood up. Isn't there the axe issued by the Taishin Holy Emperor? Why do you still use this axe? You look at the axe next to you. For a while, I thought it was funny. I feel that Lu Dongyue is reluctant to use a new axe. Wanyan Lu Dongyue is a treatise. It's not good to chop wood with a thin soft axe, which is ranked 47th on the Divine Soldier list. Let the Taishan Holy Emperor know that he's not so angry that he vomits blood. In the future, this Axe Taishan Holy Emperor will definitely find a way to go back. Now it's just in my own hands for the time being. The reason why the Muay Thai Holy Land is not taking medicine now, it's nothing more than because the axe has just been sent out. Get it back so quickly. I'm afraid the people outside will say 3 or 4. Look at your stingy look. I'll tell you, Uncle Sure, I am now rich. In the future, the days of Chang Shengwen will be better. You casually threw out 10 taels of silver into Lu Dongyue's arms. Called 10 lives and Shaoyun 1,000 masters. Tomorrow I will take your younger brothers and sisters down the mountain to buy them a new set of clothes. Thank you, Uncle. Seeing the silver in her arms, Lu Dongyue's eyes lit up. I thought to myself, this is really the sun coming out in the west. Uncle Sure actually gave him money. Practice well. Strive to reach that supreme broken realm as soon as possible. Then take your uncle and me to ascend. He patted Lu Dongyue on the shoulder and encouraged. In an instant, Lu Dongyue was slammed. Give me 10 taels of silver and let me soar. It's too many. Uncle, don't be joking. Our immortal Guan's mental method and martial arts have now cost most of it. Almost no cultivation. The ones that can be cultivated are all ordinary exercises. It was impossible to ascend with that thing. You know what Lu Dongyue said is the truth. Such as the dazed emperor or a blockade. And the exercises of the concept of longevity are almost all driven by aura. So there are really very few exercises that can be used now. However, you also wonder why you can cultivate the aura by cultivating yourself. Could it be that he is a 1 in a million physique? You wait for me to study and research. You drop that sentence and go into the house. You have things to do that you're more interested in right now. That is to make a storage bag out. With experience in making shippo gourds. The second time was barely familiar. Just 2 hours of storage bags are ready. A puff of black smoke rises from the storage bag. Indicates that the storage bag is complete. You look at your storage bag with some surprise. There are at least 10 places inside. But the strange thing is that the manual says that the storage bag is made. There will be green smoke coming out of the mud. After that, the storage bag is complete. Why is there black smoke coming out of my storage bag? Why don't you put something in and have a look? You're going to find something worthless to try. And it happened that at this time, Yin Shinju's voice came from outside. Poems and poems, dinner is over. There are chicken thighs to eat tonight. When you come out of the house, the table was full of good food. You brought back a lot of delicious food today. Yun Shinju and Shi Ming were busy for a long time. Sat down at this table. Lu Dongyue has not seen such a sumptuous meal for a long time. 3 people are dripping. But you're not on the table yet. Naturally, they can't move their chopsticks first. Yet, you sit down and speak. Broke off a chicken leg and put it in Yun Shinju's thing. Uncle Sure eats first. Yun Shinju hurriedly clamped the chicken leg back. In Yun Shinju's opinion, these are good things. It's all Uncle Sure who was trying to get it outside. It's definitely hard. It doesn't matter if it's gambling or how you got it. Ying, you eat first. Good, good, good. You smiled. Yun Shinju, this little girl, is young. But really sensible. After you pick up the chicken leg and take a bite. But he suddenly wanted to take out the storage bag. Seeing the storage bag, Lu Dongyue's eyes lit up. This thing is a good thing. Uncle Sure can refine a storage bag. Well, it was a success. You gently placed the chicken leg in your hand into the mouth of the storage bag. And a cloud of black smoke came out of the storage bag. Just devour the chicken leg into it. It worked. Your eyes light up. Uncle Sure, you ate? Lu Dongyue was strong and hurriedly waved his hand. I've also seen other people's storage bags. People are all smoking and putting things in. Why lose your storage belt with black smoke? At this moment, Lu Dongyue thought of his 7 treasure gourds that glowed green. I always feel that something is wrong with the storage belt you have refined. Your 7-treasure gourd was an accident. But the storage belt doesn't have much offensive power. How could there be anything wrong? Isn't it just that the colors are different? Don't believe me. I'll take out the chicken leg that just put it in and show it to you. After speaking, a stream of spiritual power gathered in your palm. Then the spirit enters the storage belt. I'm going to take out that chicken leg and earn you. But the next moment you were directly stunned. I'm a chicken leg. The spirit sword is outrageously fine. There was a faint murderous aura in the air. As soon as this thing appeared, directly shocked several people present. Teacher, Lu Dongyue stood up abruptly, subconsciously took 2 steps back and said with a look of horror, "This is the first murderous 1,000 lives ghost company in the Tang sect. Where did you get that? There is only one of these things in the entire Tang sect. It is rumored to be one of the authentic treasures of the Tang Gate. How can it be in your hands, uncle? The authentic treasure of the Tang Gate. You light up the thing in your hand. I don't know about this thing. How can it be treated in Chula?" At this moment, Yun Shinju was looking at you with blank eyes. Teacher, you're suddenly so rich. Did you steal the door? Sister, you think too highly of your uncle. Shi Ming shook his head and expressed disbelief. You didn't speak. Instead, he put the grimace aside. Then pick up a bowl on the table. Put the bowl in the storage bag. Sure enough, the bowl went into the storage bag and disappeared again. However, the next moment you take out another Dan furnace from your storage bag. The entire Dan furnace is wrapped around the green dragon. which is very domineering. It also contains Danxiang, Jinglong Baiyan. Lu Dongyue is upright. Isn't this the pilferness of the medicine king Gu Nine Fingers Divine Doctor Sun to precede his predecessors? Uncle Sure, you didn't just steal the Tang Gate. I also stole the Valley of the Medicine King. Lu Dongyue's eyes widened with a look of fear. Neither of these two sects can be offended by their immortal officials. You don't understand why your storage bag has such a problem. So for the third time, I wanted to pick up the food on the table and try it again. As a result, Yun Qianju hurriedly moved all the dishes in front of him. Teacher, we'll be hungry if we take it again. You can't just go into your own house. I looked at some of the books on the shelves. I found out that there was even a picture book. What is it called? The Years When I Carried My Master and My Master on My Back. It's all a mess. I can't help but curse. The predecessor is really not confirmed all day long. Then without hesitation, he threw the book into the storage bag. Black smoke came out of the storage bag as usual. Immediately after that, you took out the sketchbook and couldn't help but be a little surprised. My own storage bag is finally normal. But before you come to your senses, the storage bag in his hand shattered with a bang at this moment. Storage bags are acquired though insured. However, there is no limit to the number of times you can use it. Why did it shatter? Uncle Sure, are you alright? Hearing the voice, the three of them hurried into the house. I saw you stunned there. And then he still has a book in his hand. It's okay. It's storage, but somehow it's okay. You're a little speechless. Sure enough, the quality of the things you refined yourself is not good. He threw the book on the table. You decide to do some research into what went wrong. At this time, Lu Dongyue curiously leaned over and looked at the book. I couldn't help but gasp. Great celestial miracle. Teacher, this is the practice of the Silla Kingdom. Where did you get that? I was also taken aback. Is it the Star Luo Kingdom that was once defeated by Shenke? The Star Luo Kingdom is extremely powerful, although defeated by the gods. But there are still a group of people in the Star Luo Kingdom who are still alive and well, now hidden in the clouds. This great celestial phenomenon technique is their most powerful exercise. It is rumored that cultivation can call the wind and rain, and the power is extraordinary. Lu Dongyue explained. So powerful. You look at this book a little dizzy. Until now, you haven't figured out how this exercise came about. After several experiments, I didn't find any pattern in this. It's as if your own things are randomly becoming these things. However, the storage was broken after 3 uses. Your hope of ascending in the future is much greater. Hearing this, Lu Dongyue looked a little brighter. Uncle Sure, don't talk nonsense. This is the practice of the Silla Kingdom. If we practice this exercise, if someone finds out, they will be recognized as a remnant of Silla. I'm afraid that I will be hunted down and killed by the entire Shenke Kingdom. So troublesome. Wenyin, you are a little lost. I thought it was an opportunity for immortality. There are more troublesome things. Lu Dongyue couldn't cry or laugh. Green Dragon 100 Flames, Great Heavenly Phase. There is also a 1,000 Lives Goat Company. All 3 of these things appear in our immortal past. If you let people know about our immortality, I'm afraid I'm going to get into big trouble. Whether it's the King Valley, it's still Tangmin, or Xingluo in the Cloud Wilderness. We can't afford to mess with it. Teacher, where did you get this? You'd better give it back. At the moment, you look at these things a little secretly. How to return. Practice this storage again and put something in it, in case something that comes out again and again. What if the god, but the Emperor's heirloom jade seal comes out? Let's talk about it. Eat first. There's no way around you at the moment. A few people were eating worriedly. No one said a word. They peek every now and then. Seems to be wondering what exactly you've done. However, at this moment, a voice came. Is Lu Dongyue here? A few people looked up and saw that it was a man in purple walking in through the door. I'm Lu Dongyue. Lu Dongyue quickly stood up. I saw that the people from the Jiu and Standard Bureau rummaged through their bags for a long time. Then find out the 3 posts. Lu Dongyue. Yes. Sign for it. The people from the Jiu and Standard Bureau took out a list and handed it to Lu Dongyue. Then he said, this is a defeat post sent by the Bottomman. And this one belongs to the Zhao family. There is also one from Yushan Sept. They said it was a challenge post. After 7 days, I will come to Chongqing Pass to compete with you. Lu Dongyue's skills trembled and fell off. The people from the Bottomman, the Zhao family, and the Yueshan sect wanted to come to the door to learn from them. I thought it would be over. Who knew they would even come to the door to challenge? Is this impure coming for revenge? I am just a tasteless cultivator. How could it be better than them? It's over, it's over. I'm afraid I'm going to be killed by them this time. He gave them 8 clean in the Taishan Holy Land. If they don't fight their own business this time, it's all considered to be clean by itself. After the people of Ninyuan Standard Bureau left, Lu Dongyue sat on the ground with a loveless look. If you look at these 3 posts, you will suddenly understand. These 3 sects are here for revenge. Chongqing Pass has really not been so lively for a long time. Uncle Sure saved me. Lu Dongyue looked at you with blank eyes and said, Teacher, it's because of your 7-Treasure Gourd. I've offended so many people. You can't leave me alone. You said helplessly. What do I do with this? I can't beat it. Why don't you practice this? You will have that great celestial recipe. Take it out and hand it to Lu Dongyue. Uncle Sure, don't be joking. Lu Dongyue didn't dare to practice this thing. When the time comes, he will not only be hunted down and killed by those who lack God. Maybe the masters of Silla will hunt him down. Then you use this. You handed the 1,000 Lives Ghost Company to Lu Dongyue. Teacher, I'm afraid the consequences of using this thing are unimaginable. I'm afraid that all the people from these 3 sects will die. Lu Dongyue couldn't cry or laugh. Joke. This is the first case of Tingmed. Kill them all for these disciples. Don't join forces to give the immortal official winter noodles. You frowned. Then he looked at the green dragon buy-in and said suddenly, I think there's a damn furnace here. Why don't I refine some pills for you to eat? Help you improve your strength. Then you might be able to beat them. Lu Dongyue looked at you with wide eyes and some doubts. Uncle, sure, you can also do alchemy. You ponder for a moment and say, have you ever talked about braised pork? Uncle, don't make trouble. Lu Dongyue didn't expect it to be in the middle of the day. You're still in the mood to joke with him. Didn't make a fuss. You turn around and pull out a beginner's guide to practice sheet from the shelf. Then he said, you see I have this. It's actually not difficult to practice according to the above method. Just wait. I can even refine spiritual treasures. What is it to practice an elixir? Uncle, sure. Lingbao, even if something went wrong. It's not a big problem. But if the pill is not practiced well, it will eat me to death. Uncle, sure. The Vidra talisman you gave me last time was very powerful. You might as well give me a few more. Then they won't be able to kill me. Although the Vidra suit can guarantee that you will not die. But you were beaten. Uncle, so, do you have any clothes that can attack? You can give me a little. Lu Dongyue looked at you expectantly. But you still shake your head. How powerful is your suit? It's not clear to you yourself that Yi Yun just relied on his evil suit. Killed an 8th grade dream demon. I do have the means to attack. For example, the 5 under uniforms, the official uniforms, so on. But it's hard to say how powerful this thing is. In case it is chopped into ashes for other disciples. Isn't this still provoking a strong enemy? It's not good for one to accidentally split the immortal pass. Besides, I saw this green dragon shutter. You're really interested in trying the band. Hey, there's no help. Lu Dongyue walked out in despair. He felt that there was no hope in his life. 2 days later, the White Cloud City Lord's mansion. Yi Qingbei sat in the hall with a slightly gloomy face. I don't know what I'm thinking. At this time, Yi Ziying walked in. Dad, you're looking for me. Yi Qingbei Shuncheng said. The day has come to an end. According to what Li Hanzhou said, he should have come to see the 9 emperor princes out of the city today. In the past 3 days, Li Hanzhou has not been out of the Chongqing Pass at all. And nothing was prepared. Every day is to read a book in the house. I now wonder if Hanzhou here is playing tricks on me. He said he was going to prepare for 3 days. As a result, these 3 days were not enough time. The departure of the 9 emperors of the Sung dynasty from sea is a major event. Now that I think about it, I was really too sloppy. Father, it's something that can't be helped. Yi Ziying pondered for a moment and said, so be it. I'll go to Changxingwen now to see what the hell is going on in Hanzhou there. Go ahead. If Hanzhou wants to do something there, then do what you have to do. Yi Qingbei was also moved with murderous intent. Feel relieved. After Yi Ziying finished speaking, he turned around and left the city lord's mansion, running towards the Immortal Pass. A moment later, outside the Immortal Pass, Yi Ziying looked at the 3 words of Chongqing Pass on the mountain gate. It's almost impossible to see. She couldn't believe this kind of place. It's actually a sect. What are you looking for? It was at this moment that a voice came. Yi Ziying looked up. Found near the mountain gate. There was a little girl there. The little girl was wearing a Taoist robe. It's especially cute. Hello. I'm looking for Li Hanzhou Li Sr. Yi Ziying stepped forward and said, you're looking for Uncle Shi, and I'll take you there. Yun Xinju said with a smile. It's hard work. Are you also a disciple of the immortal officer? This is your name. My name is Yun Xinju. Yun Xinju looked at Yi Ziying carefully. Sister, you're so beautiful. There is no woman who does not like to be boasted about. Yi Ziying's heart is naturally happy. After thinking about it, he took out a long sword from the storage bag of the demon sword. This sword is given to you. Yi Ziying handed over the sword. Wow, what a beautiful sword. Yun Xinju's eyes looked directly at the sword. This sword was forged by Yun Xintai. Sharpened iron like clay. Yi Ziying handed over the sword. This is the sword that her family specially built for her when she first cultivated. But now she doesn't need it anymore. Thank you, sister. Yun Xinju hurriedly thanked him. Yi Ziying looked at Yun Xinju's appearance and said secretly in her heart, this crown of immortality is so poor. This little girl probably hasn't seen any good weapons. The sword of the cloud-tipped iron is for the immortal crown. It should be regarded as a divine soldier. 3rd senior brother. Look at my sword. It was given to me by this sister. At this moment, Yun Xinju saw the stone life. Coming from the opposite side, he hurriedly showed off to Shi Ming. Pretty. Shi Ming looked at Yi Ziying unexpectedly. Then he clenched his fists and said, thank you for sending me the 10th sister divine soldier. You are welcome. 3rd senior brother, what are you going to do? Yun Xinju asked. There is no firewood left. I'm going to chop some wood. You go back first. After Shi Ming finished speaking, he carried the axe and left. Good brother, sister, let's go. In front is where Uncle Shi lives. However, at this moment, Yi Ziying's whole person was fiercely there. Her gaze was completely focused on the axe he was really carrying. Even Yi Ziying couldn't help but rub her eyes. Oro axe. Oh wait, isn't this the 47th ranked Boruo axe on the divine soldier list? It's not that Boro axe was in the hands of the demon clan before. Some time ago, the Taishan Holy Lord personally took action. The demon clan snatched this wave of axes back. How could it be in the Immortal Pass? Sister Cheetake, where did that axe come from? Yi Ziying suspected that she had seen it wrong and hurriedly asked Yun Xianju. Axes. Yun Xianju blinked. I don't know why Yi Ziying asked for a broken axe, but he said it anyway. I got it back from the Taishan Holy Land. Really? Yi Ziying exclaimed. Some time ago, I heard that the Taishan Holy Land held a disciple majority. Your immortal officer also participated. Oh yes. The second senior brother went to participate. Uncle Shi asked him to go. At this time, Yi Ziying was even more convinced that you were not simple. So many genius disciples participated in the assessment. Even Lu Tianjing was actually defeated by the immortal officer disciple. Then it seems that your second senior brother is very powerful. Yi Ziying said quietly. Seemingly casual chit-chat. In fact, I want to find out the elder officer. The strength of the second senior brother is not strong. There are only 5 grades of cultivation. If it weren't for Uncle Shi refining the spirit treasure for him this time, he also gave him a talisman diamond. He's not going to go. Yun Xianju pouted and said. As a result, he came back with a broken axe. Hearing this, Yi Ziying's heart was shocked. The 5-grade cultivation actually won the assessment of the Taishan Holy Land. Wait a minute. You said that your uncle refined the spirit treasure for your second senior brother. Yi Ziying suspected that she had misheard. That's right, Yun Xianju said with a wink. Yi Ziying could see it. Yun Xianju didn't look like he would lie. One way or another. After returning to the Shaoxing sect this time, you must report this matter to the sect. Sister, it's here. Yun Xianju took Yi Ziying to the small courtyard in front, then shouted inside. Uncle Shi has a guest coming. Yi Ziying stood at the door of the small courtyard and looked inside. I didn't expect you to live in such a poor place. A heavenly cultivation will also refine leaders. Such a strong man actually lived such a life. Could it be that this is the legendary counterattack back to the truth? Find me. Who is it? You come out of the house. Then I saw Yi Ziying standing at the door. Miss Yi, you see it's Yi Ziying coming. Hurry up and beckon him to come and sit down. I'm bothering my seniors. Yi Ziying respectfully clenched her fists, and then he walked in. Fresh bamboo to make tea. Okay, uncle. These seniors. Today, the seniors promised our city lord mansion to send people out of the city. You remember? Naturally remember, because the thing to give away is at night. So I wasn't in a hurry. Originally, I wanted to wait for dinner and go to Baiyun City. I didn't expect you'd come first. Don't get me wrong, seniors. I'm not here to rush my seniors. Yi Ziying hurriedly said. It's just that my father has always admired his predecessors. Said that this time I can see the seniors shoot. It must be a good learning opportunity. You want me to follow my seniors? Learn to learn. I don't know if the seniors mind. You're sure you want to follow? Your expression suddenly becomes odd. If the seniors mind, the younger generation will not bother. Yi Ziying hurriedly stood up and said. I don't care. It's just that my methods are a little weird. I'm afraid to scare you. Seniors can rest assured. He is a disciple of Shaoxing sect. Nothing I've ever seen. Even the sword line has been seen. What else can scare yourself? Alright, after dinner, let's get ready. It's getting late. You go back to the house. I don't know what I'm preparing. Yi Ziying was waiting outside. I waited until late. That's when the door finally opened. Predecessor, let's go back to Baiyun City. Yi Ziying hurriedly said. No, let's go somewhere else first. Then go back to Baiyun City. At the moment you were carrying a cloth bag. I don't know what's inside. A moment later, you and Yi Ziying left the Immortal Pass. All the way to the west. The silent night was very quiet. I can't see anyone on the official road. You didn't speak all the way. Yi Ziying always felt that there was an inexplicable coldness coming. Predecessor, where are we going? The two walked for half an hour. Yi Ziying finally couldn't help but ask. What's ahead? Yi Ziying looked fixedly. There is a forest ahead. Everywhere there are depressed willow trees. There was not a sound in the woods at the moment. The atmosphere is even a little weird. Predecessor, what are we here to do? Yi Ziying didn't see anything though. But it always felt like something was wrong here. This thing. You take Yi Ziying into the woods. Look at a wide road ahead. He pinched his fingers and looked up at the moonlight. At this point, the moonlight was already obscured. It was silent and dark. The time is almost up. After saying this, you take the leaves of the willow tree out of the cloth bag. Fingers ran over the leaves of the willow tree. In an instant, it seemed that words condensed with golden light appeared on the willow leaves. Before Yi Ziying could see what was written on it, I saw you rub the willow leaf to your eyelids. At the same time, another willow leaf also rubbed against the eagle's eyelids. The hard digging in his hand shouted. But Yi Ziying trembled all over and couldn't help but be clever. At this moment, there was a mournful cry in Yi Ziying's ears. The sound resounded in the night, and it was very bleak. In just a moment, Yi Ziying felt goosebumps all over her body. What a sound this is. How does it sound creepy? However, before Yi Ziying could ask, the next scene made Yi Ziying's legs even hotter. A guard of honor appeared in the willow forest, which was originally empty in front of them. The man with a ghost hand blows to lock the door. They were dressed in colorful clothes. His face was as pale as paper. There was no anger in his eyes. and the same with those who followed them. They walked like zombies in their wedding clothes. The sound of a mournful sound from the various instruments in his hands was beaten. What's even more terrifying is that there is a red sedan chair in the back. The sedan chair is pasted with the word, happy. It's exactly like someone getting married. It worked. You weren't scared when you saw this. Ever since you discovered that countdown works in this world, you know that you can see the ghosts of this world. And you've tried it in the past 2 days. Indeed, I saw some lonely souls and wild bones in the mountains. I've pinched my fingers before. Today's scene energy is the heaviest, and it is still calculated that there is a ghost bride who will get married today. That's why you brought Yi Ziying here. Money seniors, we hit the ghost. Yi Ziying's little face turned a little pale with fright at the moment. She's just a teenage girl after all. When have you ever seen such a scene? In this Shintian realm, there are human races, demon races, and demon races. But I've never heard of ghosts. This kind of thing has always been something that only exists in fiction. Yi Ziying didn't expect that there really was such a thing in this world. Now that I really see it, it's really a scary person with hair supplementation all over the body. This unknown thing is terrifying. Scared? You asked with a smile. Yi Ziying's throat rolled. Although there is no response to your words, but he quietly took a step back and couldn't help but grab the corner of your clothes. It's like a fertilized child who needs to be protected. At this moment, the sedan chair continued to walk forward as if it didn't see the two of you. You seniors. Hey, they're coming. Yi Ziying was so nervous at this time that her voice was trembling. He even regretted coming here tonight. But at this moment, you take a brass bell out of your sack. As the brass bell rang, everyone turned sideways, staring at you and Yi Ziying. Yi Ziying only felt that the cold was coming instantly. The living stopped and screamed. At this moment, a very thin voice came from the sedan chair. The sound was a little weird. It's very uncomfortable to listen to. Sorry. You step forward and clench your fists. Something happens tonight. The people who want to see you, in dream language. I know you're getting married tonight. Just ask this young lady to walk over. You look for death. The woman in the cult was furious. In an instant, 2 red spirits flew out of it and went straight to you to kill the basket. Yet you calmly watched this scene. As soon as the palm of the hand was flipped, a gossip mirror appeared in the plastic surgery, illuminated by the moonlight in the sky. The light refracted by the Bagua mirror instantly blasted towards the red spirit. After a sudden sound, the red spirit exploded, and you take out a candle at the moment. The candle is lit directly. Finger on the candle. The flame appears directly on the belly of your fingers. Immediately followed the trajectory of the exploding red spirit, directly turned into a fire snake and sprayed over. The flames will be all over the willow forest. They all shine as if it were day. The flames burned into the eagle cellar. There was a scream from the eagle cellar, immediately followed by a bride in a red dress. And he flew out of the eagle cellar, fell hard to the ground. This scene to the leaf eagle next to it. I was dumbfounded. What it means is this. He couldn't understand it. Is this just legendary? Mysterious outdoor means. The ghost bride felt extremely aggrieved at this moment. But she can also see that you have a lot of talent. If it weren't for your mercy just now, she had just been swallowed up by those 2 fiery snakes. The ring is still missing. You ask faintly, what kind of precept are you? You're strong. The ghost bride can't see her face clearly with the red hijab, but the voice became a lot more aggrieved. I'll give you how it was that night. What's so good about being a ghost? Isn't it fragrant to be reincarnated and be a human again? Transcend. The ghost bride sneered. It seems that you don't know it all. The cycle of this world has long been shattered. Where did it come from to be reincarnated? The eagle told you to take it. I'll walk to clarify that is. Reincarnation shattered. You don't be stunned when you hear this. Then he quickly pinched his fingers and counted it. Suddenly, his face was a little strange. It really is. You can figure out that this woman did not have the life of reincarnation. Even if she forcibly accesses, there is no way to send her to reincarnation. What the hell is going on? What a ghostly world. I'm leaving. The ghost bride looks at you a little scared, got up and floated away, and the rest of the honor guard didn't seem to have any consciousness. Still standing there. You just don't think much about it. The bell and the handshakes, according to a specific rhythm. The men in the squad turned around slowly. Go in the direction of Bayun City. Predecessor. They headed in the direction of Bayun City. Yi Ziying really didn't dare to come out just now. At this moment, I saw that all the ghosts were gone. Only then did he dare to speak. Then let's go back too. You said to Yi Ziying. But, let's go back quickly. Yi Ziying didn't want to stay in this kind of place anymore. Then he jumped and flew away with his light bow. This vigorous movement makes you stunned. This Nizi is really scared. After 2-6 of instants, you and Yi Ziying returned to the White Cloud City Lord's mansion. Dad, I'm back. Yi Ziying returned to the City Lord's mansion. I finally felt a sense of security. Seniorly, Yi Qingbei also hugged his fists when he saw you coming over. Then he looked at Yi Ziying nonchalantly. Yi Ziying also nodded slightly when she saw Yi Qingbei's eyes. Yi Qingbei was relieved. There are loudly seniors. Yi Qing turned to the north side. Behind him is a cabin. He walked over and knocked softly on the door. The appearance is particularly respectful. Coming in, a faint voice came from inside. Yi Qingbei opened the door respectfully. Then there is 1 meter in first. The whole house is very basic. and in the center of the chair sat a young man. The young man was reading. Just look at it, and you'll see it. There was an imperial aura in this young man's body. The young man put the book down and stood up and said politely, "Tonight's business is the old gentleman. He still believes in the people arranged by Yi Qingbei. Dare to ask what this son is called?" "You ask." "With Qingyang Gongzi." You said it politely. Hearing this surname also confirmed that it was indeed a member of the royal family, because the surname is the surname of the royal family of the God Circle. Child Yi Qingbei was a little anxious. "I just wanted to say something, but I was stopped by Yu Qingyang raising his hand. Since I want Senior Li to take me out of Baiyun City, then naturally you have to be honest with your seniors." "Mister, we're gone now. There is no hurry." "Hey, you laugh." Yu Qingyang was a little curious. It's what to wait for. However, as soon as the voice fell, you suddenly looked at the door. Here it comes. In an instant, a dark wind blew. Blow the doors of the house open. Seeing this, Yi Qingbei hurriedly stepped forward and was about to close the door. However, at this time, Yi Ziying's hair stood up again. He stared out the door with wide eyes. Now the demons that blow and blow are coming again, and carried the red eagle of the saint. It's just that Yi Qingbei can't see it. You don't talk nonsense either. Take out a talisman directly from the cloth bag on your body. Raised his hand and directly touched Yu Qingyang's brow. Yu Qingyang's pupils shrank. I immediately felt a subtle change in my body, and at this time Yu Qingyang's shoulders, and a fire was lit on the top of each of them. Seeing this scene, Yi Ziying looked at Yu Qingyang in surprise. Yu Qingyang still didn't understand what was going on, but you took out a small bottle from the sack. Then he had held the flames on Yu Qingyang's two shoulders. The flames on Yu Qingyang's shoulders flew directly into the small bottle in your hand, and with two flames down, Yu Qingyang felt as if something was missing from his body. But he didn't wait for Yu Qingyang to react. He saw the crowd in front of him. Then there is Yu Qingyang, who has seen great destruction. Seeing this scene suddenly, he was also frightened, and he took 2 steps back, widening his eyes, revealing a trace of fear. "Child, what's wrong with you?" Yi Qingbei was startled when he saw Yu Qingyang's appearance. "These seniors, what's going on?" "It's okay. It's just that I was scared to see something." "Not a big problem." And Qingyang looks at you incredulously. "Could this be a ghost?" "It's just a little ghost. I called you to get you out of town." You pointed to the talisman on Qingyang's forehead. "This is the seal pin. I use this talisman to temporarily seal the breath of your living people. Later, you'll go to the scene set. Then I'll let these imps take you to a pine forest 30 miles away. I'm sitting in here." Yi Qingyang looked at the big red sedan chair. "It always feels eerie. Just looking at it, I feel cold in my heart." "Son, this is the joy of religion. It was specially snatched by the seniors at night." Yi Ziying couldn't help but say, "Originally, there was a ghost bride in the sedan chair. It's thus tonight. Now I can only walk." When Yu Qingyang coughed. Eventually Muna nodded. You looked at Yu Qingyang. "I see that you also have cultivation. It's okay to hold your breath." "Naturally, no problem." Yu Qingyang nodded. "After getting on a sedan chair, you have to keep your breath flat. Don't be discouraged. Otherwise, you will be swept away by your young energy. Then the road will be unstable. It's easy to expose you. Will it be discovered by that time? It's up to your luck." "Sir, I remember," Yu Qingyang said solemnly. "Okay, let's go up." You point to the red palanquin. Yu Qingyang also took a deep breath. Then he lifted the curtain and got on the sedan chair. "Let's go." The bell in your hand shakes. The demons are blowing, playing, and singing, leaving the city lord's mansion with Yu Qingyang. Yu Qingyang sat in the sedan chair and looked out secretly. "But I found myself passing through the wall. This makes Yu Qingyang very interested in you. Let's keep up with it." You said to Yi Ziying. "Just escort him safely to the pine forest. My mission is complete." Yi Ziying swallowed her saliva at this moment. Pointing to himself, he asked embarrassedly, "Am I going to?" You're stunned. Isn't this the person your family is trying their best to protect? Aren't you going to go along and have a look? Ziying, what are you talking about? Of course you have to go. It is necessary to ensure that the sun reaches the pine forest safely. Yi Qingbei said in a deep voice. All right. Yi Ziying wanted to cry a little. I really want Li Hanzhou to also open the eyes of this guy to Yi Qingbei. Look how horrible that thing is. Let's see if he can still take it for granted. When you get out of the gates, you ask. Those people at the door are waiting for Yu Qingyang. Yi Ziying nodded. It seems that they didn't notice that child had left the city at all. But your gaze is into the distance. I always feel that the road doesn't seem to be so smooth tonight. It's just that you've already made some other preparations. It's also an important attempt at the world. The distance of 30 miles is not close, but it's not far off. The speed of the eagle's call is not very fast, but according to your calculations, you'll definitely be able to get to the pine forest before dawn. Broken Moon Lake. This is the only way to the pine forest. A bonfire is lit on the shores of Broken Moon Lake. Light up the dark leaves. Next to the campfire sat a middle-aged man. The man's expression was intently wiping his knife. The white handkerchief in his hand will be everywhere with the knife. They are all wiped very carefully. In those focused eyes, it contains a touch of imperceptible cold-bloodedness. Now, the man didn't lift his head at the moment, just said lightly into the air. The voice fell on the opposite side. A man in white on a cliff. Perform light power and fly. In an instant, they were next to the campfire. Zhao Qinshu. The man in white looked at the man next to the campfire. He asked, I haven't been on the rivers and lakes for a long time. I've heard from you. I thought you were dead. I didn't expect it to appear in the god demon again. What do you want to do this time? It's none of your business. Zhao Qinshu didn't raise his head. It doesn't seem to give the man in white face at all. At least it has nothing to do with your Taishan Holy Emperor. I'm not here to trouble you, Taishan Holy Emperor. I and you, the Taishan Holy Lord, do not interfere with the river water. You don't have to stare at me. You can believe the words of your blood. Taishan Holy Lord sneered. Isn't there much dirt you've done in your blood? What's more, you, Zhao Qinshu, are a powerful killer. Come to my Taishan Holy Emperor's territory. How can you reassure me? What if you don't worry? I also heard about the Taishan Holy Lord's big trouble in Xing Prefecture some time ago. You took back Bolo House. There must have been a price to pay. The Muay Thai Holy Emperor held a disciple assessment. You haven't missed any of them. You must have been wounded. You feel hurt. Can you stop me? The Muay Thai Holy Lord heard this. His eyes suddenly narrowed to the person. Subconsciously, he took half a step back. Because what Zhao Qinshu said was right. He was indeed injured in Xinyu Mountain. Although it is said that it has recovered a lot. But the master broadcasts. The slightest factor can be defeating. It was as if he was aware of the Muay Thai Holy Master. There's a hint of jealousy. Zhao Qinshu chuckled and shook his head. Rest assured. I'm too lazy to fight with you. It's not you. Even if I kill you, no one will give me money. I'm too lazy to waste my time and energy on you. Who exactly are you targeting? The Taishan Holy Lord asked with a deep groan. You're managing a little too much. Zhao Qinshu continued to wipe his knife. Divine Soldiers Type 32 for the autumn burial. I don't know how many people died at the hands of this knife. Someone's coming. It was at this time. The Taishan Holy Lord felt two auras approaching. It was at this time that Zhao Qinshu's figure moved. I had already come to the top of an ancient tree nearby. The darkness of the night seemed to him to be in no way. His eyes seemed to be gloomy, and he saw two men riding horses in this direction. Oh, Zhao Qinshu frowned, turned around and prepared to go back. He was tasked with killing the 9 emperors of the Divine Bird Kingdom, who were likely to appear here. As for the others, he didn't have any interest, and didn't take that money either. In the insect, Yu Qingyang has been avoiding qi and concentrating. However, at this time, Yu Qingyang's face suddenly changed. He had been injured before, and he was not completely healed. It's pretty good on weekdays. But at this time, I've been avoiding gas for so long, made Yu Qingyang suddenly a little unbearable. A surge of energy came up from his body. Yu Qingyang finally didn't hold back. I couldn't help but cough. Hi. The sound of 2 coughs made him vent his yang qi. With these 2 coughing sounds, I heard it. The whole hawk is calling as well as the little ghost around it. All came out of the light. Just a moment later, the imps were also shaking. It seems that he refuses to move forward. It's just a split second. Zhao Qinshu and Taishan Holy Lord. All of them are sensed. An unfamiliar aura suddenly appeared. The goal is coming. Zhao Qinshu's eyes flashed with excitement. He waited 2 days. This is the person who was waiting. I saw Zhao Qinshu draw his knife instantly. Straight to the place where the breath was revealed just now. Kick the car back. The sword of the 10,000 moves instantly connected the entire pass. All of them are cut off in the air. In an instant, the void shook. The numerous imps and hawks have disappeared completely. And Yu Qingyang is also directly from the eagle's call. Fell out and fell to the ground. Not good. It's Zhao Qinshu. Yi Ziying's face changed. I also invite Li's senior uncle and son-in-law. Yi Ziying can only put all her hopes on you at the moment. Whoever takes away your head. Zhao Qinshu slowly raised his hand and was about to cut off Yi Qingyang's head. He closed his eyes with Qingyang in some despair. In the face of a master like Zhao Qinshu, he has no chance at all. However, just when Zhao Qinshu's knife was about to fall, a thunderbolt fell from the sky. The thunder turned into a roaring silver serpent, opened his blood basin and bit Zhao Qinshu with a big mouth.